yet, friends. Welcome back to Mary's Test Kitchen, where we're embarking on a thrilling new series with the question, will it yogurt? Applying the traditional methods of making yogurt to non-traditional ingredients and seeing what happens. This leads to other questions like what exactly makes yogurt anyways? And more importantly, can we save some cold hard cash by making it at home? Today, we look at the noble soybean. This sacred legume makes milk, tofu, and a whole array of goodies that are eaten all over the world, but especially in East Asia, mostly in fresh cooked forms, but also in fermented items. It's the top dog bean, rich in protein, complete with all the essential amino acids, but will it yogurt? Based on the fact that soy yogurt is a fairly well-known thing, well, yes, probably. But will it be good? Highly questionable. And can you use that half-empty carton of soy milk you forgot about in the back of your fridge, or must you summon your inner Martha, or should I say Miyoko, and make it from scratch? Hold on to your toques, my friends, we're about to find out. But first, let's clear up what makes yogurt actually yogurt. From the good folks at Merriam-Webster, the definition of yogurt is a fermented, slightly acid, often flavored semi-solid food made of milk and milk solids to which cultures of two bacteria, Lactobacillus bulgaricus and Streptococcus thermophilus, have been added. Okay, maybe it's not the most mouth-watering definition, but people all over the world can't get enough of this stuff, and you're here, so you know why it's good. Vegan yogurt, while less common, is getting more popular, whether it's because your body doesn't do well with dairy, or your heart feels like dairy is scary. Or you just want to try something new, my friend, you have come to the right place. But because it's not dairy, we're going to need a little vegan starter culture to work its magic on our plant-based milk. These are the much-celebrated probiotics, the friendly bacteria that will guard our yogurt against the nasty pathogens out there. Now, there are a few ways to get your hands on these microbial miracle workers. The easiest might be snagging some vegan yogurt with live cultures from your local grocery store. But beware, my friends, these store-bought yogurts are more interested in keeping you hooked on their deliciousness than helping you make your own. Capitalism. So if that's your only option, give it a whirl, but make sure it's got those live cultures and there isn't a laundry list of ingredients. Also, temper your expectations, for things may go horribly awry. For the next easiest but more reliable option, stop at your pharmacy section of the grocery store for vegan probiotic capsules. I've shared how I make coconut yogurt with this before. Or rather, I tried to show you how I make my favorite coconut yogurt, but instead made coconut butter because I forgot to add my thickening agent, and well, let's just say this is literally the worst job for someone who gets nervous and gets a little scattered in front of the camera even when my face is out of frame, but here we are. The only issue that I've heard of with using these store-bought probiotics designed for direct consumption is that these strains are not selected for optimal yogurt making, and your results may vary depending on the brand you choose. Though honestly, I have not had an issue at all. I've even used L. reuteri before, which is technically not a yogurt strain, but I thought I'd mention it because it's all over fermentation YouTube these days. The starters most universally accepted to be reliable are those commercially produced specifically to make yogurt. These are two I found online. By the way, if you're outside of the US or Canada, or just want to search for other sources, you will want to look specifically for vegan yogurt starter cultures. Cultures for Health is a name I've known for years, and they ship from Ohio. For around $14, you can make 4 2-quart batches of yogurt from one package. And if you like to live dangerously like me, you could probably save part of the batch and use it as a starter for a few more batches down the line. Though, strictly speaking, this is a direct set culture, meaning it's designed for you to use a brand new packet for each batch. And they want you hooked. This adds $188 USD per quart to the cost of your homemade yogurt. Vivo Cultures also ships to the same locations and is on Amazon too, but it's based in Canada. I ended up buying off their website, but with the shipping added, honestly, Amazon is probably the better deal. They're on for $28 US for 5 boxes or 10 bottles total on the American site, and $29 Canadian for the same thing on the Canada site. At that bulk price, you'll add $1.40 US per quart to the cost of your homemade yogurt. Vivo also isn't recommending that you keep reusing the resulting yogurt as a starter, but they do have a loyalty program. Price differences aside, each has a slightly different collection of probiotic strains, which theoretically will give us slightly different results. Maybe wildly different. I haven't actually tried them side by side, and we won't today because the side by side is store-bought versus homemade soy milk today. I've actually never tried using store-bought soy milk for yogurt, so the results will be a surprise for the both of us. This is Silk Unsweetened Organic Soy Beverage, my usual soy milk of choice. No affiliations, not sponsored, I wish. Now I'll be using the Vivo culture today, and they recommend using milk with at least 7 grams of protein per 100 grams. But spoiler alert, no store-bought milk I found fits that bill. And since this is a test of store-bought milk's capabilities, well, we're just gonna have to see what happens. But first, don't forget to sterilize all your equipment, my friends. Anything that'll be getting up close and personal with your milk needs to be squeaky clean. I usually go the old school route and boil everything, but if you got a dishwasher with a disinfecting cycle, that's the fancy modern way to go. Highly recommend, probably safer. And speaking of sterilization, bring this milk up to 180 degrees Fahrenheit or 82 degrees Celsius to bounce any potential pathogenic party crashers. To do this easily, I'm going to use the boil function on my programmable cooker. You can also do this on the stove. You do not necessarily need this or any other kind of yogurt maker to make yogurt, by the way. People have been doing this since forever. Now, I know what some of you smart people are thinking. We could go all out and boil this milk down to change that protein to milk ratio from its current 3.2 grams to the recommended 7 grams per 100 grams, but that's a test for another day. Instead, I'll just let this milk cool down to a comfy temperature for our probiotics between 100 and 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Too cold and they can't do their job, but too hot and they'll just keel over and meet their demise. Afterwards, let's get our vegan yogurt starter. I've divided the powder into 2 because I'm cheap. And this should make 2 quarts or like about 2 liters. So I'll go ahead and mix 1/2 in. When it's thoroughly mixed, put the lid on, turn on your yogurt setting, and set it up for 8 hours. And if you want, set another timer to check on it like before that. So I checked on it 4 hours later. About 8 hours later. Finally. Magic! It's thick, but it's not tangy. I let this cool to about room temperature, then chuck it in the fridge. After it's chilled, we'll really see and taste the final result. Now with the store-bought soy milk yogurt completely chilled, the flavor has changed yet again. The yogurt tang is more pronounced. Did you think it would be the other way around? That's what I thought. And like the original flavor of Silk Unsweetened, the flavor is very mild. It's not super beany, but it just has that yogurt tang added to it, and it's nice and thick now. But not as thick as I'd probably like my yogurt. The texture is more like a thick yogurt drink, and I'm thinking we could probably thicken this up with a straining step, like how you would strain yogurt traditionally to make Greek yogurt, but let's just jar it up and put it in the fridge, because I've got to turn these into yogurt too. And because I am a professional, these organic soybeans have already been soaked. They started out as a 1/2 pound of dried soybeans, picked over so that any discolored or overly wrinkled beans cannot add any of their off flavors to our milk. Then I covered in plenty of fresh tap water and refrigerated overnight. Now they are plump and ready to rinse. Look, we still have a few uninvited guests. Recently, I actually got a juicer to see if it would help with our experiments, but with mixed results for a different video I'm working on, we're just gonna milk the beans the old-fashioned way. So into a high-speed blender with about double the volume of water as beans and 30 seconds on the clock. Then I'll pour the puree into my trusty nut milk bag. You want one that you can trust because you're really gonna abuse it. Time for a hand and forearm workout. Don't forget to breathe. Afterwards, the pulp is as dry as I can get it. And the milk is rich and creamy, but the smell is not that great, okay? You can smell the rawness of it. It's grassy. It's not my favorite smell, to be honest. It's a little bit like acrid almost. So into the pot it goes. And we do the same thing as before. This time the milk is already thicker with a greater tendency to foam. So as it heats up, you could skim off the top of the foam, but I never do. I just push the foam aside to see what is happening under the surface. I want to see that it's coming to a boil, but once it does, it will threaten to bubble over. So I control the heat so the boil reduces to a mild simmer for 15 to 20 minutes. Afterwards, the amount has been reduced, and this milk is really thick. So I'm going to add water because I want to have the same volume of liquid as our previous test, or thereabouts. This is a kitchen, not a lab. Then we do the same thing as before. I'm going to wait until the milk has cooled down before adding in the other half of our vegan yogurt starter culture. And then 8 hours later, honestly, I'm full of doubts. It's like scary thick. It's actually the next day. I already put it in the fridge to cool, and so we'll take another sterilized spoon and like it's hard. Did we make tofu actually? It's like, feels like it's set by agar, you know, it has that quality to it. So I'm gonna take a taste. A slice of yogurt. Hey! So this one does have a lot more tang. However, this texture is not gonna cut it. So, into the blender. Ooh, sour. Sour and a little bit beany. I have to say I had my doubts, but I mean, just look at it. It's beautiful. Time for the taste test. Wow. Okay, it's a little bit warm from the Vitamix, but yeah, it's tangy and it definitely tastes beany. Like, it's homemade soy milk, right? Thickened homemade soy milk, so it's got a concentrated soy milk flavor, like a really beany soy milk flavor, but honestly not bad, and I think it's going to do really well in more like savory applications. But how do they stack up on nutrition? While yogurt cultures change the acidity, taste, and texture of milk, they don't change the nutrients significantly. So here's a peek at the nutritional info of our finished yogurts coming right up on the screen. So if you're not into numbers, feel free to skip ahead to the next chapter on costs. In the store-bought soy milk corner, 1 liter of unsweetened organic silk soy milk produced 952 milliliters of this runny yogurt, and we're breaking it down to half-cup servings, which is 118 milliliters. And then in the homemade milk corner, we started with a half-pound or 227 grams of dried soybeans and managed to conjure up a liter of thick yogurt. This one's a bit trickier. The exact nutrient transformation is a bit of a mystery, especially in the area of fiber and carbs. Who knows exactly what's in the pulp, what's in the milk, but let's take a guesstimate, shall we? Both of these nutrition charts look pretty good to me, as in both can easily fit into the diet that makes me feel my best, but that is just me. Remember, everyone's dietary needs are different, so do with this information what you will and choose your yogurt adventure wisely. Speaking of wisely, with food prices out of control, we have to ask, what is this homemade yogurt going to cost us? In my neck of the woods, I fork over about $4 to $5 Canadian dollars for 2 liters of soy milk, which translates to $2.50 per liter. Add in that $1.50 for the yogurt cultures we discussed earlier, and you're looking at a grand total of $4 Canadian dollars for a full batch, or 49 cents per 118 milliliter serving. With today's exchange rate, that's $2.60 US for just over a quart of yogurt, or a mere 32 cents per half cup. By the way, I'm not adding in the cost of electricity for running my stove or the cooker. That's just above my pay grade. For our thicker, more protein-rich yogurt made from soybeans, I bought a kilo or 2.2 pounds of organic soybeans from Amazon for $10 Canadian. Actually, correction, I bought a kilo for $6.51 last I placed an order on Amazon, but the current price is $10 a kilo. And that's why we can't afford anything anymore. So that's $2.27 for the amount we use today, and then add the $1.50 for the cultures, and that's $3.77 for a full liter of thick yogurt, or 44 cents a serving. For my friends across the border, that's $2.45 US for just over a quart, or 29 cents for a half cup. Not too shabby if you've got the time and inclination. I haven't found soy yogurt for sale around me, so I can't really compare on that price either, but if they sell soy yogurt near you, it would be very cool if you could share those numbers and your review in the comments below. Speaking of comments, please let me know what else you would like me to yogurt in future videos. Thank you so much for tuning in, watching to the end, my friends, and bye for now.